Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Northeast Conference Women's Basketball Weekly Google Hangout. As always, the Google Hangout is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com. Now, on to our guest of honor today. She's up at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. She's the NEC Women's Basketball Player of the Week, Hannah Kimmel. It's a pleasure to welcome you into the Google Hangout. Thanks for joining us. Hannah, I want to start off by talking about this 2020 performance you had this past weekend. The first Sacred Heart player in nearly a decade to have more than 20 rebounds in a game. And we all know what you've been through with 2 ACL tears. And 2 years ago, after that second ACL tear, could you have ever imagined that you would be back playing college basketball and putting up a 2020 game like you did this past weekend?
It was hard to picture, but no, I knew I'd be back. I just didn't think I'd be back to, playing how I'm playing right now, and I'm excited that I finally feel normal again.
Obviously, one injury is takes a tremendous amount of work and effort to come back from, and then after you rehab and you get back to full strength, and then you tear the ACL again. Did you ever lose hope at any point? I mean, how did you keep a positive mindset? Is it that you just love this game so much that you wanted to do anything to get back to play it again? Or did you have doubts about the future of your career at that time?
I mean, yeah, definitely the game of basketball is what kept me in it. Yeah, there were definitely days where I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think I'm going to get back to, where I was before. But, I had a big support system. I had siblings that have done the same exact thing. So I really couldn't, take the easy road and just say, I won't get back to how I was before. I had to, stick through it and work it out. And I knew that I could get there because I've seen people at this school do it. I've seen family members do it. So I really had no excuse.
Now, you mentioned you had siblings, family members tear their ACL as well. So I assume you come from a family of athletes?
Yeah, my brother played football at Syracuse, and my sister played basketball at Villanova.
Okay. And they both tore their ACL at some point in their life?
Yep, my sister tore hers in high school, and my brother tore his twice when he was at Syracuse playing football. So kind of runs in the family, I guess I'd say.
Yeah. So did anything positive come out of 2 years waiting on the sideline? I mean, it's got to be tough to sit there and not be able to play. But what did you take from that experience?
Well, you learn a lot when you're on the bench. You learn, things that normally you wouldn't learn if you're playing all the time. You see how other teams defend certain people. There's just so much, I don't really know how to explain it, but things that you wouldn't really notice if you were playing on the court, like how to play against certain people. It kind of slows down how you're going to play on offense. I would say for me, like I learned certain things just watching players on my team play, like, oh, when I finally get back, maybe I'll do this because I can tell that this person's trying to push me this way, little things. But yeah, I'd say overall just watching, it does help. It helps you become a better player.
Now, you came back last year and you started the 2013-14 season, first game of the year. You got yourself a couple buckets against St. John's. You played a full season and you had solid numbers, but it's no secret, it's pretty obvious. This year, you're a beast out there. Your numbers have skyrocketed. And is it because, do you feel more comfortable out there this year than you did last year? What's the cause here? I mean, you've gone from a nice player to a top 5 rebounder and a top 5 scorer in the Northeast Conference. I mean, what's gotten into you, Hannah?
I honestly, I feel way better than I did last year. I think when you have like an injury like what I've had, it takes more than a year to get back to really, where you were before. So yeah, I'd say, yeah, definitely this year's a lot better. I feel great. I don't have a brace anymore, which is good. I feel way more mobile without it. So I never want to see that thing again. But no, I definitely feel 100% better than I did last year.
Now, you said that the brace was something you played with last year. You don't have it this year. Is that something that it restricts your movement a little bit, obviously, but is there a psychological thing to playing without the brace? Like, do you get nervous that you could possibly suffer another injury, or do you just not think about it? Do you just go out there and play? Like, what's your mindset going out there day in and day out?
I don't think I need the brace at all. I mean, I tore my ACL in a brace, so I honestly don't think that they really do that much. So honestly, I hate them. I want to throw mine in the garbage, but I keep it in case anything ever happens. But yeah, not a fan of them. But I think when you first come out of injury, like I probably wouldn't have wanted to play my first year without it, just because that's mentally like you're like, oh, it's got to help me somehow. But now, having torn my ACL in one and having played with and without it, I feel great without it. Honestly.
Now, I've never spoken to you before today's hangout, but I have seen you play a lot, and it's strange to me because right now you seem so quiet and unassuming, but when you play, especially last Saturday, I was at the game. I mean, 23 rebounds. You have to have a kind of a nasty streak in you. You have to get nasty at times if you want to rebound the ball well at the Division I level. There's no doubt about it. But like, is there a switch that you just turn on once the game comes on? I mean, you seem so nice and quiet and sweet, but I mean, on the court, there's no doubt you're ferocious.
Yeah, I would say when I get on the court, I'm a little more aggressive and I'm extremely competitive. But yeah, off the court, I don't know. I'm kind of quiet, unless don't talk to my teammates because they'll be like, no, she's crazy, and they'll laugh and stuff. But when I first meet people, I'm shy and I'm pretty quiet. But yeah, once you get to know me, I'm a little not quiet.
Are you like a rah-rah kind of player in the locker room? Are you somebody who's, I mean, now that you've been there for 3 years, are you someone who's taken on a leadership role, or, are you the person in the locker room who's always keeping it loose, who's cracking jokes, or how do you describe yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say I'm like okay, say something in the game, we're down or it's a close game, then I'm really serious. I'm kind of like a hard ass. I'm that aspect. But yeah, I don't know, in our locker room when we don't have any games or anything, I'm silly. I'm kind of like crazy in the locker room, just having fun. Because all those girls are my friends, so I don't know. It changes, depends on the mood and the game situation.
Fair enough.
Well,
now, I noticed that you're a physical therapy, exercise science major, and being someone who's rehabbed twice from a major injury, is it just a coincidence that you're a PT major, or was this something that piqued your interest during the rehab process?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd say it piqued my interest 100%. Just seeing like my family go through it and then going through it myself, it really caught my interest. Getting people back and rehab, the whole process is really interesting to me. So without it, I don't know what I'd be doing. But yeah.
Now, academically, you're a senior at Sacred Heart this year, correct? So you'll be on pace to get a degree in May, which that's pretty exciting. But I assume you want to come back and possibly play a 5th year, and maybe even down the road you could appeal for a 6th year. Who knows? But the fact that you've been in school so long, like, are you going to have 3 different majors by the time you're done at Sacred Heart, or what's the deal?
I'm gonna be like 30 by the time I'm done, probably, and yeah, hopefully, um, I'll become a physical therapist by the time I leave. That's 3 years after. So if I do my 2 red shirts and then just do an extra year, just of school, I'll be done with basketball by then. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So that's the path I'm going.
Now, let's take a minute and talk a little bit about the team's performance. Now, the team, from my perspective, has shown enormous potential. A huge win to start the season at Iona without Gaby Washington. You beat Villanova on the road. Villanova, of course, has a legendary head coach. They're a Big East team. You beat them on the road by 25 points.
Yeah.
But then you come out and you have a setback. And it looks like at a couple different junctures this year, the team puts together a tremendous all-around effort, but then they take a step back. Then it's another great effort, but then another step back. What has led to the inconsistency this year amongst the Pioneers, and what can you do to correct that as we have 12 more games remaining in the Northeast Conference schedule?
I wish I knew 100% what it was so we could completely stop it because we're sick of losing, sick of those setbacks. But I'd say just our game execution. We come out on fire on Saturday, and Monday it's like, it almost seems as if we're not ready to play, and that's just for those 2 games or those few games that we've played. But we'll fix it. I have faith that we're gonna turn this around. We're sick of losing. We want to get a successful weekend this weekend and from then on out. So if we just execute right and do everything that our coaches tell us, we'll be fine.
And I want to ask you about a particular teammate. I know she was your roommate at one point.
Yeah.
Gaby Washington. What does she mean to this team? I know that the first 6 games she was sidelined, but now that she's back, what does that mean for Sacred Heart basketball?
Oh, it's awesome. It's great having her back. It was tough, honestly, not playing with her. That's a huge offensive threat, like against other teams, and having her back, it's awesome because it's not just the pressure is just not on a few people now. Everyone on our team can score, so it's honestly great to have her back finally. So.
And we'll close it out with this last question here. What makes Sacred Heart so successful on those nights that you are beating Iona, that you are beating Villanova? You're putting up 101 points on the road at St. Francis. What makes this team so special, and why can this team possibly put together a run toward an NEC championship?
Well, that's a good question, but we have a lot of good players on this team, and I really think when we're vibing, like it seems like no one can stop us when we have those good days. I'm excited to see how the season pans out. I hope we're definitely at the top, like every other team. But yeah, I'd say that the thing that really gets us going. If one person gets going, another person will get going. That's the good thing about our team. If someone gets a stop on defense, the next person will score, the next person will get a stop on defense. Just we feed off of each other. And I think that if we just keep doing that and, we get more wins under our belt and have good weekends, hopefully we'll be at the top and it'll be a good season for us.
Well, there you've heard it from Hannah Kimmel. She says that the Pioneers feed off each other. Well, I know one thing's for sure. Hannah Kimmel has been eating this year. She's got monster numbers, 26 and 23 last week. She's in the top 5 in the NEC in scoring and rebounding. Our NEC Player of the Week, Hannah Kimmel. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate the time, and best of luck down the stretch run here, Hannah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. For Hannah Kimmel up at Sacred Heart University, I'm Ralph Ventre at Northeast Conference headquarters. Thank you for watching this week's NEC Women's Basketball Geico Google Hangout. Until next time, folks.